Maybe sharing a confidence will actually make him believe I see him as a friend. Besides, the idea of the girl with her maimed tongue frightens me. She has reminded me why I'm here, not to model flashy costumes and eat delicacies, but to die a bloody death while the crowds urge on my killer. To tell or not to tell, my brain still feels slow from the wine. I stare down the empty corridor as if the decision lies there. Peta picks up on my hesitation. Have you been on the roof yet? I shake my head. Cinna showed me. You can practically see the whole city. The wind's a bit loud, though. I translate this into no one will overhear us talking in my head. You do have the sense that we might be under surveillance here. Can we just go up? Sure, come on, says Peta. I follow him to a flight of stairs that lead to the roof. There's a small dome-shaped room with a door to the outside. As we step into the cool, windy evening air, I catch my breath at the view. The Capitol twinkles like a vast field of fireflies. Electricity in District 12 comes and goes. Usually we only have it a few hours a day. Often the evenings are spent in candlelight. The only time you can count on it is when they're airing the games or some important government message on television that it's mandatory to watch. But here there would be no shortage, ever. Peta and I walk to a railing at the edge of the roof. I look straight down the side of the building to the street, which is buzzing with people. You can hear their cars, an occasional shout, and a strange metal tinkling. In District 12, we'd be all thinking about bed right now. I asked Cinna why they let us up here. Weren't they worried that some of the tributes might decide to jump right over the side, says Peta. What did he say, I ask. You can't, says Peta. He holds out his hand into seemingly empty space. There's a sharp zap and he jerks it back. Some kind of electric field throws you back on the roof. Always worried about our safety, I say. Even though Cinna has shown Peta the roof, I wonder if we're supposed to be up here now, so late and alone. I've never seen tributes on the training center roof before, but that doesn't mean we're not being taped. Do you think they're watching us now? Maybe, he admits. Come see the garden. On the other side of the dome, they've built a garden with flower beds and potted trees. From the branches hang hundreds of wind chimes, which account for the tinkling I heard. Here in the garden on this windy night, it's enough to drown out two people who are trying not to be heard. Peta looks at me expectantly. I pretend to examine a blossom. We were hunting in the woods one day, hidden, waiting for game, I whisper. You and your father? He whispers back. No, my friend Gail. Suddenly all the birds stopped singing at once, except one, as if it were giving a warning call. And then we saw her. I'm sure it was the same girl. A boy was with her. Their clothes were tattered. They had dark circles under their eyes from no sleep. They were running as if their lives depended on it, I say. For a moment I'm silent as I remember how the sight of this strange pair, clearly not from District 12, fleeing through the woods immobilized us. Later we wondered if we could have helped them escape. Perhaps we might have concealed them if we'd moved quickly. Gail and I were taken by surprise, yes, but we're both hunters. We know how animals look at bay. We knew the pair was in trouble as soon as we saw them, but we only watched. The hovercraft appeared out of nowhere, I continued to Peta. I mean, one moment the sky was empty, and the next it was there. It didn't make a sound, but they saw it. A net dropped down on the girl and carried her up fast, so fast like the elevator. They shot some sort of spear through the boy. It was attached to a cable and they hauled him up as well, but I'm certain he was dead. We heard the girl scream once, the boy's name, I think. Then it was gone, the hovercraft, vanished into thin air, and the birds began to sing again as if nothing had happened. Did they see you? Asked Peta. I don't know. We were under a shelf of rock, I reply, but I do know. There was a moment after the bird call, but before the hovercraft, where the girl had seen us. She locked eyes with me and called out for help, but neither Gail or I had responded. You're shivering, says Peta. The wind and the story have blown all the warmth from my body. The girl screamed. Had it been her last? Peta takes off his jacket and wraps it around my shoulders. I start to take a step back, but then I let him, deciding for a moment to accept both his jacket and his kindness. A friend would do that, right? They were from here, he asks, and he secures a button at my neck. I nod. They'd had the Capitol look about them, the boy and the girl. Where do you suppose they were going, he asks. I don't know that, I say. District 12 is pretty much the end of the line. Beyond us, there's only wilderness, if we don't count the ruins of District 13 that still smolder from the toxic bombs. They show it on television occasionally just to remind us.